Well, boys and girls, it looks like we're in the middle of yet another heat wave. It's the middle of July and my plants are struggling. I decided to make this video. Well, it was supposed to be made this morning, but I got a late start and now the heat has got me. It's going to 100 today and it's already in the 90s, and you'll notice that from the way that these plants look. I water them in the evening, so you'll be able to tell that they haven't been watered today. So let's get started. I'm going to get out of this heat. I'm going to give you 9 drought tolerant vegetables that you can grow still at this time of year. Now, a lot of people get confused between heat tolerant and drought tolerant. Drought tolerant means that they don't have to be watered as often. So that is something that is going to be very useful in the climate that we live in. And I'm going to start with these guys here. These are, I grew up calling these black-eyed peas. I didn't know until recently that they were actually also called cow peas. Now, these are extremely drought tolerant. I'm going to do extremely drought tolerant and moderate drought tolerant. I'm not even going to bother with the low drought tolerant. So the reason why I stuck this little packet here is because these are those. These are the black-eyed peas that are growing at the moment, and it's my first time. I haven't grown these before. Basically, people, I guess it was a tradition that started down south where people would cook these on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. They're supposed to bring you luck. I am originally from up north, from Philly, and that tradition has apparently spread. So a lot of people just go out and buy these, but I'm going to grow my own. Second thing on the list that are uh, drought tolerant are sweet potatoes. And that's here. I don't have a lot of sweet potatoes this year. It's kind of a long story. Most of what I have here, these are just regular potatoes. So we have sweet potatoes. We have the black-eyed peas, and I'm going to move over this way. Not moving so fast today in this heat. But the third thing on the list is something that you probably, well, may or may not have heard of, and that is Jamaican sorrel. This is my first time growing this also, and looks a little beat up. That's because it's 90 plus degrees out here right now. I set this here so that you can get an idea of what the seeds look like. These are the seeds. I'm growing this in an old Gatorade container that was given to me by Miss Nancy. And I'll water this evening along with the rest of my garden because it's not really helpful to water in the middle of the day, which is what we're approaching now. So the next on my list are peppers. Most peppers, not all, most peppers have a high uh, uh, tolerance for being able to not have to water as much. So these are the peppers, and I will water this today. So these are also drought tolerant. So what we have here are drought tolerant black-eyed peas, drought tolerant Jamaican sorrel. Again, that's these guys here. Sweet potatoes are drought tolerant. And we're going to move on to 2 more. And these are, let's do the eggplant first. I set this here so I wouldn't forget it. I'm not growing eggplant this year, but these are moderate drought tolerant. And also, these are pole beans. depending upon who you talk to, some people say that pole beans are more drought tolerant than bush beans, but I grow both pole beans and bush beans. And the one thing to remember about this is that we're talking about established plants. These are plants that have been around, been in the ground, have established roots. You're not going to just plant these and then a week later expect them to survive. So moving on to one of my favorites, these guys here. If you watch my buy it or build it, you saw that I put this in a container that I got that used to hold water, and it came from over here. This is what I used originally, and there it is. Red Malabar spinach. Extremely heat tolerant. And there it is. Just to show you guys what's happening out here, I'm going to be quick because if this camera gets too hot, it'll cut off on me. So one of the other things, Swiss chard, I do not have. So that's also very drought tolerant. And Tuscan kale, drought tolerant also. So I'm going to run through the list real fast one more time. Get out of this heat. Black eyed peas, pole beans, Jamaican sorrel, also known as hibiscus, sweet potatoes, eggplant, dinosaur kale, Malabar spinach. Number 8 is Swiss chard. Number 9 is peppers. That's the whole list. These guys here, you may not be familiar with. Also, I grow these. Well, I used to grow them every year, and then I stopped, and now I'm growing again. The last time I grew these, the vines were about, I don't know, somewhere between 16 and 18 feet. So they get pretty long, pretty impressive. So I don't know if you have any of these in your garden. It's still early enough to plant. Yes, it's July, but it's around mid-July. So there's still time if you want to get some of these in the ground. The reason why I put them here is because you don't have to worry as much about the heat. These are melons here, and you can see they're struggling. I have shade cloth that I'm thinking about using today because they're definitely going to need it. But that's it. These are the things that most of these that I'm growing in my garden. Hopefully you'll try a couple of these in your garden. They are drought tolerant, not heat, or well, I guess you can say they're probably, most of these are heat tolerant also, but that's what's happening in my garden. I'm the Frugal Gardener. I hope that you hit the subscribe button, hit that like, and come back because I do videos every couple of days. On Friday, I do Buy It or Build It, which I'll put a link to underneath the description here. But that's it for today. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'm the Frugal Gardener, and I'll catch you guys in a few days on the next video. Enjoy your day. Go out and grow something, well, after the sun goes down. Catch you later.